Thank you so much for joining us, ma'am. And we appreciate your time and the impact you are making in Nigeria ICT industry. More importantly, on Digivision Network, as a player in Nigeria ICT ecosystem and an expert, can Nigeria as a country actually invest in artificial intelligence? Do we have what it takes to invest in this emerging technology? Capacity, financial, everything.
Well, is there anything that Nigeria is not capable of doing? So for me, we are just giants in all aspects, except something we didn't put our mind to or something we really don't want to do. Honestly speaking, Nigeria is capable of doing all the things that can make our country a perfect place. So it is something that Nigeria can do, you know. And if you look at it, if we delve into it or imbibe into it, the expectations, the future expectations will be very large. So there'll be something like faster implementation broadband. Like me and you know that recently we launched 5G in Nigeria, which MTN launched. And I don't know if you have used it. For me, I have used it. I've experienced it. It's fast. But again, as fast as it is, that is how fast your money goes, you know. So I would say we will be ready for it. We will be ready for it. And I'm sure if the government, if the people say they are ready for it, we will go for it. We will implement things and put things in place that will make us very ready for it.
Nigeria as a country has gone through so many challenges when it comes to policy, when it comes to implementation, when it comes to maintaining, when it comes to sustaining. What are the biggest impediments to AI in Nigeria?
The biggest one, can you take that again? Impediments?
The biggest impediments to AI in
Oh,
Nigeria.
okay. Yeah. In fact, it's not just about AI. The impediments is not just about AI. Nigeria has a lot of impediments when it comes to ICT stuff, even generally. And it's not peculiar with Nigeria, it's peculiar with other countries as well, African countries. But let us narrow it down to Nigeria. What are these biggest impediments? If, as an ICT person looking at artificial intelligence, for me, what comes readily on my mind is power.
Power.
Yes. And again, cost of internet and lackluster, lackluster. That's uninspiring government policy. So I just mentioned about 5G, that as fast as it is, that is how fast your money is and so it goes as well. So that is it. But if you look at the vast countries, if you look at US, you look at UK, internet doesn't cost much. And if you spend money getting an internet in your home or in your a place of work, you will enjoy it to the fullest. But that is one thing I haven't seen us enjoy in this country, Nigeria. So the biggest impediment to AI is power, cost of internet. Honestly, it's big barrier. So effective use of data. And again, there is what I also looked at as data and AI skills, because trying to acquire this artificial intelligence, you also have to acquire the skills. You also have to look at the AI ecosystem. What is the legacy culture? What is the procurement mechanisms? So you have to look at all of those things put together, because those are the biggest impediments for us in this country to AI. So if we are looking at going to bring it here, absorb it, and practice it. So we should have to look at it and look at this government policy. So because some of the infrastructural barriers limiting the adoption of AI tech in Nigeria also runs across social cultural issues, which limit AI adoption. So those are the areas that I have seen. But if I just, for the essence of this discussion and narrow it down to just put it together, I will say there are 7 powerful impediments, which is power, effective use of data, which sounds as internet, cost of internet, then data and AI skills, the AI ecosystem, legacy culture, procurement mechanism. So those are the ones that I would say are the biggest impediments. Thank you.
Now, you laid emphasis on skill, capacity, like 3 times while you were talking. So what type of jobs would be displaced by AI in the nearest future as it is?
Okay, so it's very obvious. It's not far from what we are currently doing, but I'll just point out some of it. So the types of job we are going to look at that will be displaced by AI actually is like tech jobs. And tech job is not like I'm discussing, it's not like they are going to do sales for us, you know, but you look at those ones that are very key, like the coding, like computer programmers, like software engineers, data analysts. So those are the areas where I think they will come in handy. And if you now drill it down to the nitty gritty, like the lower ones that are not quite techy, I could also look at advertising, content creation, because when I said garbage in, garbage out, is what you give them that they bring out. So they can actually advertise for you, do all those tech dance and all of that to advertise. So those are the job areas where I'm looking at. They might specifically help out, not totally replace it, so to speak. They can also do teaching. They can also do teaching because what you impute in them, they can voice it out, you know. So those are the areas where I think they can actually displace.
There are concerns over the future of intellectual property rights in an AI-powered world, which is coming or which is already here. What are your thoughts on this?
Okay, so my thoughts is the evolution of innovation and intellectual property will continue to enrich. There is no doubt about that, you know. Okay. So empower and protect investments, yet requires stewardship that applies the needs of the now and over the laws of the past. You know, so the next generation of change makers are ready to use their energy. They are ready to use their ingenuity. They are ready to use curiosity, creativity to steer a course towards addressing the policies of this future innovation that we call AI. So actually, those are my thoughts. There's nothing else to add to this. I don't know what other people are thinking, but truly these are my thoughts.
Now, how concerned should we be over security if AI gains more ground?
Okay, so in my observation, these concerns can be categorized into like 3 perspectives. Okay. So the first one I would say is artificial intelligence needs to be democratized to help more people understand it and embrace its potential. That's one for me. Then the second one is like, I think a focus on trustworthy AI. So, and what I mean by that is, what does it offer? Offers a promising model for innovation and the governance of AI. And the third one should be, we need to develop regulations for this AI that are agile and that can adapt to this rapidly progressing technology. Because I have, in the movies, let me just now be realistic. I have seen AIs, I've seen artificial intelligence robots that turn out to be bad after you have, programmed it on what they should do. That's why I tell you that what you put in is what they put out. So if you program them to be a well-organized machines, they will garbage out well-organized technology. So we need to develop regulations for AI and ensure that these regulations are managed by kind and understanding-minded people, not people who have bad intentions behind them, so that this AI can be very agile and adapt to this rapidly progressing technology that we have in the country. So those are my 3 concerns that perspective we should look at in terms of security.
With growing interest in producing more unicorns and closing the tech skill gap. We know Nigeria has produced 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 unicorns in the past 5 years. Now, can Nigeria catch up with the AI global standard? Because you mentioned it now, we need to regulate, we need to do this, then protect it from hacking and all those things you've mentioned. Can we actually catch up with the AI global standard?
To me, I would say yes. And I will tell you why I said yes, and I will tell you how we can, back the yes that I have said. And how do we do it? Governments can accomplish this by funding basic and applied research, the training of specialists in AI technologies, the development of digital infrastructure and related technologies. So these are the areas where government should come in. Once we do this, the yes is yes, because that's the only things that we can do to make our yes a big yes. So that's it.
Now, let me take you back a little bit, because you mentioned something about internet for everyone.
Yes.
It has come to be that a lot of organizations, both non-for-profit, even internet society, has called for internet to be a basic human right. Can this be accomplished in Nigeria, for internet to be a basic human right?
I wish, and I'm hoping for such a day when it will happen, because honestly, I think that is our biggest challenge. But we can achieve a lot with this internet if it becomes either free or becomes very less expensive. Today, look at what we are doing. We're able to chat, we're able to see each other. I'm seeing you, you're seeing me. I'm looking at you right now, you're looking at me right now. And we are conversing, we're talking. You're hearing me, I'm hearing you. It's the internet. And only God knows how much speed we are being charged. So again, we call on the government to look at it. If today government can help us bring down the cost of calls, the NCC, bring out the cost of calls, like me and you talking on the phone, they can also bring down the cost of internet usage in Nigeria. So it boils down to our government. It boils down for them to bring the best infrastructure, the superstar infrastructure that can help us bring down the cost of internet so it can be accessible, it can be less expensive, so all of us can grab it. Even the rich and the poor can access it, because it's life. Honestly, data is life. Being aware of things that are happening around you is life. So imagine during the time of COVID, and there was no internet, there was no, I don't know what would have happened. I don't know what would have happened. So this is the time the government need to revisit the issue. They should make it a reachable asset to everyone. So the poor, the rich, the young, the old can grab this internet and use it for good, because it's our life wire.
I want to hear your opinion on the stakeholders in Nigeria ICT ecosystem. We know Nigeria ICT ecosystem thrived on the private sector. That is how it came to be. And these players are actually doing so much, from the young to the old, from helping in even in the policy, like the startup bill that came up. But my question is this: are they being cornered too much, the stakeholders? Because without them, do you think this development can actually go forward, even if a better policy is made? Are they being cornered too much, the ICT stakeholders?
Yes, and honestly, what can happen is they need to also look at other sectors, not just about ICT, even though ICT is also complements the telecommunication sector. Because if you look at it, so much should be gained and so much should be done with the telecom sector. MTN, for instance, Glo Mobile, and Airtel. So those areas should also be complemented. The government should look at the faster implementation of broadband plan, how it can help us. Yes. They should also look at increased participation of indigenous operators. So bring these two sectors together, and not just about, like the Microsoft, like the Intel, like the HP and all of those. No, then like that, we're able to do like friendly policies that will unlock these sectors. For example, international companies are buying Nigerian companies, which means that the Nigerian telecom and ICT sector is already receiving attention from international players, which is good for the country.
Yes.
Like this recent auction of the 5G spectrum would also lead to new service offerings, and this would make the sector contribute more to the country's GDP. You understand? So those are the areas the government should look at. And the global market, even us as companies, should also understand this collaboration so it can help us.
So on the last note, with all these high expectation possibilities and all that, what are your future expectations for Nigeria ICT sector in the area of AI?
Okay, so I honestly, on my last note, I will just take the three last things that I mentioned as my future expectations for Nigeria ICT sector, which I just mentioned in my last answer to you, which is faster implementation of broadband plan, and also the increased participation of indigenous operators. And this is as a momentum gathers around 5G deployment in the country. There should be a clearly defined policy and regulatory push towards asymmetric superintendents in favor of, the smaller network operators. So I don't know who the smaller network operators, I don't want to mention. You and I know them. So the third one is friendly policies that will actually help us to unlock this sector. So those are the three major areas where I think those are the future expectations for Nigeria ICT sector in the area of AI.
Thank you so much, madam, for your inputs, your insights, and analysis, which is quite eye-opening, because a lot of us think of, when we hear AI, we think it's something like, oh, but it's still broad, come down to infrastructure, internet, broadband policy, and all those. It's still the basic things that will still make it work. Because when we hear AI, everyone's like, oh, it's the coding, it's this. but with this chart right here, we get to understand that it's just like any other emerging technology, and the possibility are just the simple things that we need to re-emphasize. Thank you so much, Ma, for your time. We appreciate your insights and inputs.
More on well-researched and balanced stories, events, and interviews across business, tech innovation, and lifestyle. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel, www.youtube.com/Digivation Network.